And I've still been into 5 accidents since I started driving again. After I moved out of New York City during the pandemic, 2020, and I've been in 5 accidents with this car. My insurance is $1,800 a month, Joe.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's wild.
Why are you so bad at driving?
Joe, I have.
Is it your fault?
I get
every
road
time?
hypnosis and I fall asleep all the
Really?
time. No, that hasn't been it.
God.
It's always, dude, I'm just a fucking pothead, dude. And I'll just back up and there's a fucking car and I hit it. And it's never anything bad. It's always like, like fender benders. Yeah. But I called up my insurance company. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was mad at them. And I was like, they're like, so you've been in 5 accidents. We shouldn't even be insuring you. And then I changed insurance companies and now it's like $1,200 a month.
Wow.
For car insurance.
Yeah. There might be a bargain.
Maybe.
Depends on your activity.
Doggy.
That's not good, though, dude. Is it because you just didn't drive for a long time before you lived in New York and now you're back driving?
I drove when I was 16. I moved to New York when I was 19. Didn't drive for 20 some odd years.
Oh, that's what it is.
And then I just came back and then I got a little bit too, like the all the bings and the dings when you're like backing up and you're almost hitting shit. It's great. But then I started depending on it like a little bit too much and I just stopped paying attention. And then, my phone will ring, I'll look down and then here we are. I'm an fender bender. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
I feel like I'm a good driver.
No, I bet you're not. But every guy thinks he's good at whatever. I'm a fucking awesome driver, bro.
Well, how do you
if I
define
play tennis? I'd be number one.
Doggy, how do you define a good driver, right? Like, fine. If you take out my accidents, I feel like I'm good at steering the car and turning it on turns.
That's like if you're saying to your teacher, if you take out all my F's, I only got A's.
I'm careless. I think I'm a bad person, but I'm a good driver. That's the problem.
Well, the careless part is a bad driver.
Yeah.
Like, by definition.
Joe, you're winning me over on this argument.
You have to. On that one, you got to let it go.
You know what? Fine.
It's like, you can't be good.
I'll say right now I'm a bad driver. I've never said it publicly before. I've never admitted that to anybody, but I will say it to you right now, Joe Rogan. I am a bad driver.
It's okay.
Yeah. You can be good at other things.
It's normal. Especially taking that much time off, man. That's a big readjustment as an adult. 20 years plus of not driving, and also you're driving. If you did road gigs, would you get rentals?
Say that again?
If you did road gigs, did you get rental cars?
Before, when I was living in the city?
During the 20 years, yeah.
No, dude. No, I would do public transportation, Uber. I mean...
Really?
I'm also a bad Uber rider. Like, I'm bad. I have the worst. My Uber rating is, like, abysmal.
Why is it so bad?
Because I'm a dick to Uber drivers very often.
Why, Lewis?
I'm going to tell you why. All right. So it all came from New York City. When I was in New York City, I live my life, like I like to be, whatever it is, dude, I like to be right on time. Like I showed up exactly at 12:30 today on the dot. I don't like being early. I don't like being late. But when you live your life that way, you're very often late because things happen. One thing will go wrong. If the Uber driver made a wrong turn today, that's that, right? So very often when I would get into Uber cars, I would be running late for something already. And I'd be like really like anxious and just like, oh fuck, I gotta go. And then they'd make a wrong turn. They wouldn't pay attention to the GPS. Like if an Uber driver doesn't pay attention to the GPS and they start doing their own thing, I would just be like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, come on, you gotta pay attention to the GPS. And then you're like, of course, they're gonna give you a 1-star like immediately. So yeah, it was that. But it was just, I'm not like that much of a dick. I just feel like
people are very sensitive today.
People are super sensitive today.
And when people can complain that easily, with just a little touch of my button, ruin your rating, sir.
Yeah, it's a bad Uber rating.
Well,
I've been denied rides.
They don't know you though. People who know you're a lovable guy. Mm-hmm. But on the surface, when you're yelling at someone about GPS, they might think this guy might be an asshole.
I know.
If they got to be your friend, they go, no, he's a great guy.
No, that's just Lewis.
That's just Lou. He's a great guy.
One of the things he does.
But if you're like a sensitive person who's also, if you're driving an Uber, there's always this fear of picking up a psycho.
Yeah.
There's always this fear of like, so even a little bit of an aggression towards an Uber driver, the Uber driver's like, where's this going?
Yeah.
Like how many Uber drivers have been murdered?
I'm sure a lot.
I don't know. But
probably less than the cab drivers.
Gypsy cabs.
Dude,
bro,
there's no paper trail.
Dude, in the 90s, there was a terrifying rash of murders in gypsy cabs where I was living in New York. I was living in New Rochelle. And these gypsy cabs were getting. I'm good. These gypsy cabs were getting like heisted, and the guy they'd just shoot him in the back of the head and steal all their money. And it was, it was really horrible stories about these like poor immigrants who came over here, and they're driving these gypsy cabs, and people are robbing them and shooting them.
Yeah, my uncle Howard, God rest his soul, was a gypsy cab driver, and in the 90s, he was hit in the back of the head with a hammer.
Jesus Christ!
Guy just fucking put a hammer into his skull. Didn't kill him. His
oh my God!
It's a big guy. He was like 6'6", big fucking burly guy. And yeah, then they just stole his car. He rolled out. He was on the George Washington Bridge
with a hammer in his head.
Yeah, but you could feel the hole was still in his head, dude. They never like filled the hole.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I mean, dude, I don't know what type of doctor we were going to. They were supposed to fill that hole, I'm sure. But it was like an actual like
doctors back then.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got your knee operated on, I had a buddy of mine who was on the U.S. ski team, and he got his he has more operations than anyone I've ever met, and he had his knees fixed in the 80s when they used to open you up like a fish, and they would take a chunk of your hamstring and just screw it all in place there and try to fix your ACL, and maybe it'll stick and maybe it won't, and your leg's compromised now because a chunk of your hamstring is missing. It was brutal shit, man.
That sucks.
And he had both of his knees done like that.